So my name is Arwa Damon, and I have been a journalist, mostly reporting from war zones for about the last 20 years now. This opportunity to make this documentary just kind of was a result of a collision of my years of experience of reporting, the fact that I had started a charity dealing with war impacted children, and of course my own personal deep love and experience with mountains. The way it came about was Inara, my charity, was originally organizing Kilimanjaro as a fundraiser for 2020. But then, of course, COVID happened. And our original intent was to take up climbers who had been through the Inara medical and mental health program. And when we were trying to reorganize it for 2022, Afghanistan had happened, Ukraine had happened, and I was covering those as a journalist. And I remember being specifically on the Ukrainian border with Poland and watching refugees coming across. And this was a scene that I had seen many, many times in my careers, related to Syria, related to Iraq, related to, these different war zones. And my mind was juxtaposing what I was seeing in front of me with Ukrainians coming across and just exhausted mothers dragging suitcases, dragging tired children, that shock on their faces, that, way that, can this really be my life? Is this really happening to me? Just plays across a person's features. And in front of that image that I saw in front of me, I was also seeing, images that I had seen in the past. And I remember telling the Inara team, this needs to be bigger than the work that Inara does, this Kilimanjaro expedition that we're doing. We need to really bring in people from different war zones and allow them to interact with each other and really make this about creating broader awareness about the impact of war. In terms of organizing all of it, though, it was completely insane because I was on my own. Obviously I had Cameron with me, the director of photography with me at the onset, but in terms of like logistics and organizing and finding everybody and getting it all together and flights and, proper clothing for Kilimanjaro. I mean, I was trying to do all of these logistics in a crazy crunch time zone. So we had a crazy shoot schedule. We filmed Germany, Italy, Spain, Afghanistan, Ukraine in about 5 weeks. So we were literally bouncing from one location to the other. And I was there, like we would finish filming, in one country, and I would be there, booking our flights for the next one. And then obviously we went to Kilimanjaro. So the whole, from start to finish filming was about 2 months. And then we came back with obviously hours and hours and hours of material that was ultimately in about, 8 different languages. So that all had to go through an epic translation process. And so the editing, the fine tuning, all of it that happened afterwards probably took roughly 9 months. My favorite moments were the moments where I saw joy on the climbers' faces. And definitely my all-time moment in that is what's in the closing scene of the documentary. When the climb is done and when they're able to sort of settle in and recognize what it is that they've accomplished. And I think I'm just really, really grateful that I was able through this to give, Adnan, Safa, Shaqaiq, and Tanya this experience. What I found quite striking also was, the juxtaposition. Like when I would watch them watching the nature around them, knowing what their mental Rolodex was normally filled with in terms of images, and watching them be able to see and experience sort of nature's raw natural beauty, the way that, you know, it has so many different aspects and venues of being able to heal somebody. I really love watching them being able to have that experience. It's a very different format than what I'm used to. You know, we and I make decisions very quickly. Like, you know, it's news, it's there, it's dangerous. You know, you need to be on your toes all the time. You need to be making snap decisions. And I operate naturally, but then also because of my career at a very different pace than the documentary world does. So that was a massive adjustment for me. And I think, you know, I didn't have the time between my time at CNN and having to start filming to be able to build out a team beforehand. Like, I never wanted to do this alone. I fully believe in having, you know, a lot of people on board and everyone having their input. So I think if I were to attempt something like this again, I would definitely want to have, you know, another director on board ahead of time, maybe even an editor on board. So competing like at this level is, I mean, yes, of course, you know, it's exciting. It's also very humbling. You know, this is my first attempt at this. It's also a bit terrifying, I have to admit. But I'm also, you know, I'm excited for this documentary to, you know, get out into the world and, you know, hopefully touch people in a way that they didn't expect. But I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I'm nervous. I'm very, very nervous.